Good evening humans, Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and welcome to another retro review. Tonight we're taking a look at the SOTA Toys Street Fighter II Vega figure. This was released during Street Fighter's 15th anniversary, and it was actually 15 years ago, or I guess 16 years ago as of this recording, which is why I kind of was wondering whether this was actually going to be a retro review, because it is kind of a modern figure, but I think this is early modern stuff. And certainly this line was ahead of its time from what I can tell. I was not collecting when this came out, and I kind of wish I was, because these all look fantastic. And the articulation is just great, especially considering how long ago this came out. But without further ado, let's actually just jump straight into this. Let's do this. Aesthetically, this figure is absolutely gorgeous, and there's clearly a lot of love and care that went into this line, and it's just fantastic to see. And you know, something not as common these days, just because of the way things are produced and how many collectors there are and stuff like that. But this is just a line from everything I've seen. They seem to be basing the sculpts and the characters off of some of the art, promotional art that was released certainly around the time of Super Street Fighter II. And I couldn't be happier about that, because I've always loved those renditions and the way they looked. And here it's just absolutely fantastic. Super clean paint all around. Even Vega's tattoo here, the snake, is just super crisp. Goes all the way around. And the gold is just a gorgeous sheen. I really like that. It looks realistic. You know, it looks metal. I always love that sculpt. You know, you got a little bit of vascularity that going on there. Just the musculature looks great. The wrinkles in the pants look realistic, and you know, it's got those ball joint hips that, you know, were kind of the early, just the way things were done at the time, because that was where the technology was. And honestly, it doesn't look too bad, especially considering how good the rest of the sculpt is. So just really fantastically done. Pretty much every part of this is hand painted. And you can tell, like even the shoes, you can tell that there's a black base with the brown done over it, so they look a little bit more like real leather, have a little bit of weathering to them, so that's really cool. Even the sash is just, you know, it's not just a bright red, it kind of has some little bit of darkness to it, which is really nice. And then, you know, the sculpt and the hair looks great, the paint is really well done, everything is painted, the strap, the buckle on the belt, on the mask. So just absolutely fantastically done. A just gorgeous figure. For accessories, we get a pretty solid selection, especially considering the time this came out, and they're all really well done. So right out of the package, I guess we'll go over first. We have just our mask head, which again is sculpted really well. I showed that off more or less in aesthetics. We also get the unmasked head, which is just, again, really well sculpted. I like kind of the cockiness in the face. It really captures the character of Vega. Just really well. Again, hair just done fantastically with that just great paint. Like the wash and the layers they put in this are just absolutely fantastic. Then we get a few sets of well, not sets of hands. They're actually all the removable hands are the right hand. So we get 2 fists right out of the package. And on the left fist with the claw does come out. It's a little loose, so if you find one of these and you are kind of playing around with it, be careful, because that does come out really easily. Then for the right hand, we get 1 fist. We get a kind of clawed hand. Again, really just gorgeously sculpted and painted. And then finally, we get another hand, which is really similar to the clawed hand, however, a little more delicate. And you can see that pinky is folded in, and that is for the final accessory, which is this rose. I can get this to focus. There we go. Again, gorgeously sculpted and just really well painted. And that slides in. You can just put the stem right into that pinky, and there you go. Super well done, just looks great. So that's accessories. Articulation is another area where this figure absolutely shines, and you know, as I had kind of said before, a lot of stuff here is stuff that's commonplace now, but we kind of take for granted, and this is definitely kind of the beginnings of that, and that's really cool to see. Certainly experience, again, because I didn't at the time, and yeah, so we'll start top to bottom as we do for any review. And our head is on the ball joint, so not really gonna look down. Get a wee bit of up, but nothing great. And then some slight side to side. So I'm kind of getting around that way. Then we come to the shoulders, and we're on our swivel hinge. So we come up to our T-pose. We have bicep swivel. We have double jointed elbows, which pretty much fold in half. Then we have swivel and hinge at the wrist. However, the difference here is that they are kind of separated a little bit. They're not all one piece. I guess as you kind of saw in the accessories section. Then we come down to the diaphragm area and just got a standard ab crunch. So we're gonna come about that far forward, nothing super deep. And then we can come back, and we could come, as usual, you usually come back a little bit better. And you can even see the pin in these. So again, just kind of showing off its age. And there is under the sash a swivel hidden there. So you get a swivel at the waist. Then we come down to our hips, and as I've shown before, as you can just blatantly see, they are just those kind of like those ball joints. But you get fantastic range. I mean, that's one of the good things about this, even though it's occasionally unsightly, or often unsightly, you just get unbelievable range with these types of joints, which also gives you your thigh swivel and double jointed knees. Just gonna bring you up to about there, like all the way, complete fold in half. And then we come down to the ankle. So we get some point, and we get some, like a little bit of forward, and then we have a toe joint. So, I mean, really the only thing that would have set this thing like way over the edge for me would have been, at the very least, an ankle rocker. But other than that, just like absolutely fantastic articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here is Vega with the only Street Fighter figures I currently own, including the very first Vega figure I've ever had, and one of the first produced, I'm pretty sure. With some Hasbro. With some imports. With some monsters. Finally, with an articulated Icons Oni, and yours truly in human form as an articulated Icons Ninja. So my final thoughts on the SOTA Toys Vega figure is that this is an absolute work of art. And from what I gather, that extends to the entire SOTA Toys Street Fighter line, where just there's so much love and attention to detail thrown into these figures. And again, the leaps in articulation, especially for the time, are just certainly commendable. And I highly recommend hunting certainly this figure and probably other figures from the line if you can. From what I gather and from what I've seen, eBay prices aren't too bad right now, which is good. I happened to find this in a somewhat local comic store, so I lucked out because it was new in package, and you know, it's just gorgeous. It has aged beautifully. I know because they're all hand painted, some don't age as well as others, so definitely be careful of that. However, regardless of that, I wish you happy hunting in finding your very own. Whether it's secondary market, or I guess it's all secondary market, but whether it's eBay, Mercari, or your local comic book shop. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this review entertaining and somewhat informative, or informative and somewhat entertaining. And if you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and or sharing. And if you want to help the channel in other ways, you can check the description for other ways to do that as well. So ultra thanks to you for watching. Please take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.